Shivaji Raje Bhosle, famously known as Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj, was a brave Maratha warrior and the founder of the Maratha Empire. He was born on 19th February 1630 in the hill fort of Shivneri, near present-day Pune. He was a son of Shahaji Raje Bhosle, a Maratha general in the army of the Bijapur Sultanate, and his wife Jijabai. Shivaji grew up in Lal Mahal in Pune, where he was trained in horse riding, archery and swordsmanship. As children, he and his friends from the Mawal region, called the Mavlas, used to explore the hills in the Sahyadri ranges in Maharashtra. This would give him a large military advantage in the future. By age 16, Shivaji's military brilliance showed as he put together his own army made up of the Mavla soldiers and set out to free the Deccan region from the rule of the Sultanate of Bijapur. The Sultanate of Bijapur spread across parts of the present-day Indian states of Maharashtra and Karnataka. His first conquest was the capture of the Torna fort, and by 1647 he had also captured the Kondana and Rajgarh forts. With these conquests, he started his battle against the rule of the Mughals. At the time of Aurangzeb's rule, Shivaji cared for the welfare of his people and stood for the honor of women. He was said to be secular and accepting of all religions. He had many Muslims in his military service. He was a skilled military commander and developed tactics like guerrilla warfare and established a naval army. He is famously known for his defeat of the mighty general Afzal Khan during the Battle of Pratapgarh in 1659. In a one-on-one peace meeting, Shivaji's quick reflexes and preparedness saved his life from Afzal Khan's sudden attack. In 1640, he was married to Saibai, with whom he had a son named Sambhaji. He had many wives and 7 other children. Be it Shivaji's defeat of the Mughal general Shaista Khan to recapture his palace Lal Mahal, his thrilling escape from the Mughal emperor Aurangzeb's court, or his victory in the Battle of Sinhgarh in 1670, Shivaji's intelligence and unique military strategies helped him further unite his empire. In 1674, Shivaji's coronation took place with a lot of fanfare and celebrations at Raigad, the capital of the Maratha Empire, after which he was known as Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj. Shivaji died on 3rd April 1680 due to ill health, and his eldest son, Sambhaji, succeeded him. The Maratha Empire continued for about 138 years after Shivaji's death and ended in 1818. The famous Chhatrapati Shivaji Terminus Station and the International Airport in Mumbai have been named after him. Shivaji is admired for his bravery, military conquests, and acts of welfare towards his people, making him one of the most loved and remembered leaders in India. Sarojini Naidu. Sarojini Naidu was a multifaceted personality, a poet and politician, a lyricist, and an articulate spokesperson of India's freedom struggle. She was fondly called Nightingale of India or Bhartiya Kokila. Sarojini Naidu was one of the few women freedom fighters of India. She worked for reform in many areas, from literature to education, women's liberation and youth awareness. She was the first woman to be appointed as Indian state governor post-independence. Sarojini Naidu was born in Hyderabad on February 13, 1879, to Agornath Chattopadhyay, a teacher and principal of Nizam's College, Hyderabad, and Barda Sundari Devi, a famous Bengali poet. She was the eldest of 8 siblings and learnt English at a very early age. Her brother, Virendranath Chattopadhyay, was a revolutionary, and her elder brother, Harindranath Chattopadhyay, was a poet, dramatist, and actor. Sarojini passed the matriculation from the University of Madras at the age of 12. It was then that she started writing and wrote a 1300-line poem, Ala, Lady of the Lake, in 6 days. The next year, she penned an impassioned poetic drama of 2000 lines. During her college days, Sarojini had written a Persian play, Maher Munir. Dr. Agornath printed a few copies of the play for private circulation and presented a copy to the Nizam. The Nawab of Hyderabad liked her Persian play so much that he sanctioned a scholarship for her higher studies in England, where she studied at the King's College and later at Girton Girls' College in Cambridge. Sarojini was influenced by Victorian poets Alfred Tennyson, Percy Bysshe Shelley, and Elizabeth Barrett Browning. Sarojini met Govindaraju Naidu, a physician, in 1895 and married him at the age of 19 after finishing her studies. The couple had 4 children. Her daughter, Padmaja Naidu, became the governor of West Bengal later on. In 1905, Sarojini was hurt at the partition of Bengal and decided to join the Indian national movement. She left for Bengal immediately and participated in the anti-partition agitation. Besides her father, Sarojini was deeply influenced by Gopal Krishna Gokhale, Muhammad Ali Jinnah and Mahatma Gandhi, and she tried to follow their example. The same year, she got recognition as a poetess when she published her first collection of poems, The Golden Threshold. Other collections of her poems were The Bird of Time, The Broken Wings, Feast of Youth, and A Treasury of Poems. While reading them, her melodious, inspiring voice and gestures cast a hypnotic spell on the listeners. She was popularly admired as the Nightingale of India. In 1906, at the age of 27, she attended the Indian National Conference. There, she boldly moved an amendment substituting Indian for Hindu. She was elected a Fellow of the Royal Society of Literature in 1914. From 1915 to 1918, Sarojini travelled to various parts of the country to deliver speeches on social welfare, women's empowerment and nationalism. In 1916, she met Mahatma Gandhi and immediately decided to use her talent to fight for freedom. She participated in the non-cooperation movement in 1920 to 1922 in a run-up to the Indian independence movement. In 1925, she was elected as the first woman president of the Indian National Congress. Sarojini was arrested in the 1930 Salt Satyagraha for protests in Dharasan salt works. Her faith in Gandhiji's non-violence methods was absolute. In spite of the police beating the protesters, Sarojini cheered volunteers not to use violence against the police and protest in silence. Sarojini Naidu was a trusted follower of Mahatma Gandhi. In 1931, she accompanied Gandhi to Britain to attend the Round Table Conference. She was with Gandhiji when he went on a fast in the Yerwada jail. In 1942, she was arrested and jailed for 21 months with Gandhiji during the Quit India movement. She was later released in 1943. After India's independence in 1947, Sarojini became the first woman governor of Uttar Pradesh.
More than 20 centuries to evolve. But if in one word, before the signal goes up for me to stop being a cinema star, I might say what my country says to you.
Dr. Radhakrishna once commented on a speech, "She lifted us beyond ourselves to another plane." Sarojini called herself a poetess-singer and felt that her destiny was to be a singer of songs. Her friend and fellow political worker, C.P. Ramaswamy Iyer, called her dreamer of dreams. As a young girl of 11 or 12, Sarojini used to question herself, "What have I done to change the world?" These aspirations helped her to later become a leader in Indian politics. Sarojini was nicknamed Gandhiji's Mickey Mouse because of her playful nature and humorous stories that she would tell. She was the only one who was able to help Gandhiji relax with her jokes. She had remarked about Gandhiji's poverty. "You do not know how much it costs us to keep him poor," but worshipped him as a beloved master, saying, "He is my Kanhaiya and I am humble flute." In 1947, when Sarojini Naidu assumed office as governor of Uttar Pradesh, she watched the British flag hauled down for the last time before the Indian flag was hoisted. She wept knowing the struggle that India went through to reach this historic moment. Sarojini Naidu never let her family responsibilities or frail health come in the way of her duties. She died of a heart attack while working in Lucknow on 2nd of March 1949. Her poems, Coromandel Fishers and Indian Weavers, give a glimpse of the rich heritage of our country. Jagdish Chandra Bose. Sir Jagdish Chandra Bose, more commonly known as Dr. J.C. Bose, has a unique position in recent Indian science. He is considered to be India's first modern scientist and researcher. He was an Indian physicist who started the inquiry and analysis of radio waves and microwaves. Bose revolutionized and brought modern science to India, and his main study was on the characteristics of electromagnetic waves. He was born on November 30th, 1858 in Munshiganj district in Bengal, modern Bangladesh. His father, Bhagwan Chandra Bose, worked in the British Indian government in various jobs. He served as executive and magistrate of Faridpur, where Bose's childhood was spent. His family belonged to the village Rarikhal near Bikrampur in current Dhaka, which is the capital of Bangladesh. He began his schooling in a Bengali medium school. After growing up, he entered the St. Xavier's School and College at Calcutta, Kolkata. He also got through the entrance examination of Calcutta University, comparable to his school graduation in 1875. Bose received a bachelor's degree in science from Calcutta University in the year 1879. In 1880, he went to England to study medicine at London University, England. He was able to study there only for a year as he had to give it up due to his own ill health. In January 1882, he moved to Cambridge, where he got admitted in Christ's College to study natural sciences, the same college his brother-in-law Ananda Mohan Bose had studied in. In 1884, Bose acquired a Bachelor's degree of Arts in Natural Sciences as well as securing a Bachelor of Science from the University of London. After finishing his training, he came back to Kolkata and was selected as the Professor of Physical Science at Presidency College. However, he was offered a salary that was half his English co-workers. He took the job but declined to take his salary as a form of protest. After 3 years, the college finally accepted his demand and Bose was paid full salary. In the year 1887, Bose was married to Abala, the daughter of the famous Brahmo activist Durga Mohan Das. She was a prominent feminist and supported him in his scientific career. In 1894, Bose made up his mind to dedicate himself to pure study of science. He turned the small area in the Presidency College into his own research laboratory. He would conduct experiments related to refraction, diffraction, and polarization there. He presented his first scientific paper on the polarization of electric rays by double reflecting crystals in front of the Asiatic Society of Bengal in May 1895. His papers were later published by the Royal Society of London in 1896. Bose made widespread use of scientific experiments in his class, which interested his students. He was their favorite and inspired many of them to become famous themselves, such as Satyendranath Bose and Meghnad Saha. He held this teaching position until 1915, and in 1917 he founded the Bose Research Institute at Calcutta. He also became the principal of the institute and held the position until his death. Bose was able to prove by extensive research and testing that animals and plants are very similar. He proved that plants are also responsive to heat, cold, light, noise, and many other external stimuli. Bose constructed a complex device known as a cresograph, which was capable of recording and observing the plant's tiny reactions. This instrument could magnify the movement of plant tissues to about 10,000 times larger than the real size. This enabled him to discover many common characteristics between plants and other living things. His instrument was exhibited in the Central Hall of the London Royal Society on May 10, 1901. Bose's experiment was controversial as he wanted to show that plants have feelings like animals and humans. He placed the plant in a beaker of poisonous hypobromic acid. Bose connected the cresograph to the plant and observed the spot on a screen. It showed the movements of the plant, like its heartbeat, and the spot began to move similar to a swing. In a matter of time, the spot moved in a violent manner and came to a sudden halt in the end. The plant died due to being exposed to the poison, and Bose had demonstrated its feelings. The instrument was praised extensively, especially by the Bath Congress of Science in 1900. Several physiologists backed up and proved his findings later, using advanced instruments. Bose wrote 2 renowned books, Response in the Living and Non-Living, 1902, and The Nervous Mechanism of Plants, 1926. He widely examined the actions and movement of radio waves. Despite being famously identified as a plant physiologist, he was truly a physicist. He invented one more device called a coherer for identifying radio waves. Bose had invented wireless telegraphy 1 year before Marconi patented his invention, the modern transmission radio. Bose was chosen Fellow of the Royal Society in 1920 for his contributions. He became Companion of the Order of the Indian Empire in 1903 and Companion of the Order of the Star of India in 1912 due to his scientific accomplishments. Bose passed away in 1937 at the age of 78. He was recognized by IEEE USA as a pioneer in the discovery of radio transmission in recent times. The Acharya Jagdish Chandra Bose Botanical Garden is named after him for his exceptional achievements in plant physiology.